Alright, it's not recording. Hey guys, Data007 here. So, over the last few weeks, me and Morganlands have been talking about making a top 20 worst games list. Well, in all honesty, it's in total because it's a top 10 list of worst games we've ever played. So anyway, this is my top 10 list of the worst games I have ever played so far. Alright, so these are my opinions. If you don't agree, don't be rude. I'd love to see what yours would be. Okay, so number 10. Number 10 on my list is Rampage Through Time. A great series, but with this one particular game is just embarrassing. For one, it has multiple glitches. The controls are just simply terrible. Oh, and though the music and graphics are very good, but other than that, it's just a poorly controlled mess. That's all I'll say about it. Number 9, South Park Rally. Hey, again, and just so you know, all the South Park games to me sucked. Though Stick of Truth was a little better, I still did not enjoy it. Okay, so now this one is basically a Mario Kart clone. And not only does the game look ugly like the show, it controls horribly. I cannot believe this. I've only played 2 versions of it, those being N64 and PlayStation 1. You have no idea how many times I've almost broke the analog stick on the N64 controller just trying to get those stupid carts to control correctly. The PS1 version is possibly even worse because I literally had to like jam the D-pad in there. Just to get it to do anything I wanted. And also, the voice acting is repetitive, foul, and annoying. Anyway, let's move on. Number 8. Number 8 on my list is Duke Nukem Forever. And now, I'm assuming right now is a dead franchise. Okay, in honesty, I never cared for Duke Nukem. For one, I've never liked, though he does look awesome, I have never really liked his personality. And the gameplay was, a lot of the things in the game were rather suggestive, but this one is the worst out of all of them. For one, it's running on a completely new engine, since that old engine it was on expired years ago. It was outdated. Okay, for one, everything about it is just clunky. The action becomes pretty boring after a while. And the jokes are cheap. His one-liners have even stronger language. It's just and it's just got too much suggestive stuff, and the story just gets really stupid at the end. So let me just get through this. It's boring, clunky, and the graphics are unpolished, which makes everything look bland. And it's also got several bugs in it. And plus, the loading screens are just a disgrace. Okay, number 7, Mad Dog McCree for the Sega CD. Okay, if you don't already know, I actually like that game due to the fact the reason is because it's not only entertaining, but the bad acting is literally something to laugh at. And it becomes winding up very entertaining because of it. Now, the Sega CD version, I'm sorry to say, is the worst I've ever played. For one, the video quality is so poor and grainy. that I can't really tell where anything is. Even if you memorize from other games, that's still not going to help you because even if you use the light gun or move a little cursor with the D-pad, you have to shoot the guy like a millisecond before you'd expect to, because the programming hit is so delayed to the point it will drive you into a frustration rage. And many people may argue that this wasn't as bad as 3DO version, but in all honesty, I don't mind the 3DO version. I like the quality a lot more. And while using the cursor with the D-pad is terrible and fighting a light gun is a pain, I still like that one better. Alright, let's move on. Number 6. Number 6 on my list is King Kong for the Nintendo DS. Okay, so the main thing about this I'm getting out of the way, the graphics are so murky and so pixelated that you cannot see anything. I have not even made it past the first level. Well, because the graphics suck so bad, I don't even know what's getting me. I don't know where anything is. The only positive is that it controls alright. Enough said. Number 5. Spawn the Eternal. This is the worst Spawn game I think I've ever played in my life. For one, it has bad camera, retarded and broken controls, or both. The fighting sections are too easy. The jumping mechanics are just horrible. And the graphics suck too. There's nothing much I have to say about this game. It's crap. Alright, so number 4. Number 4 on the list is The Simpsons Skateboarding. Never been a fan of the show, but the games were pretty decent. Decent for the most part, until I played this one. This one is a disgrace. For one, the graphics look bad, which wouldn't even be a problem if there weren't so many other problems. And the main thing that kills us are the controls. They are either slow or just flat out don't want to work at all. And it's hard pulling off tricks and actually landing with them without falling. And there are also a few glitches as well. And not to be confused this game for that online PC game where he plays Bart and you skate around trying to get away from the police. But this game is terrible. Terrible. It's the worst Simpsons game I've ever played, and let alone one of the worst skateboarding games I've ever played. So anyway, let's move on. I can't drag on this any longer. Number 3. Number 3 on my list is by far the worst first-person shooter in my opinion. That being Rogue Warrior. There is nothing I have good to say about this game. For one, the graphics are outdated. The controls are poorly set up. It has multiple glitches. And the voice acting for Richard Marcinko by Mickey Rourke is by far the most annoying thing. Every time there's an enemy around, or after you defeat an enemy, he'll shout out a bunch of profanity or just some horrid insult. And adding insult to injury, the AI is atrocious. And And this game is short. I beat it in under 2 hours. Let's move on. Number 2, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. In all honesty, this one is worse than Sonic 06 in my opinion. Due to the fact that this, I actually had fun with Sonic 06, some at least, but this one, there was actually no fun to speak of. For one, the game is slow-paced, too slow-paced. The frame rate has issues. The combat is repetitive and boring. It has multiple glitches. And the only thing I can say about it is that the control's alright. And all I'll say is this is the most boring Sonic game I think I've ever had the dishonor of playing. And number 1, Lesser Suit Larry box office bust. Man, this series should have just stayed dead. Okay, so this game is by far the worst game I've ever played in my life. Well, the adult humor, if you can even call it adult humor, sucks rear. The character you play as is stupid, brainless. It has horrible controls and low quality graphics. And some of the worst gameplay I've ever seen in my life. And some of the most annoying voice acting. Ugh. And I have never cared for this series at all, but this one is by far the worst. And that's all I'll say. It's the worst game I've ever played so far. Alright. Well, that concludes my top 10 list of worst games I've ever played so far. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And watch for Worgen Lance's list. And I will see you next time.